Are you bored, looking for a game that'll satisfy that hungry feeling that you have? A game that may look like a relic of the past, but is relatively new and satisfies your every need for a small price tag? Well, don't look any further. Vampire Survivors is right here. I'm Mantas, and today we're looking into the seemingly quiet area of rural Italy. That is until Visconti Dracula begins to summon hordes of monsters, and it's up to you to stop him. What is Vampire Survivors, and why is it one of the best games out there for such a small price tag? Vampire Survivors is a shoot 'em up bullet hell, where you're the one causing the bullet hell. The game has a 16-bit graphic style and may look dated, but I can assure you that's of no bother. The gameplay makes up for it 10 times over, and it's nice to have something that isn't visually complex, that is until you start getting crazy combo items. The goal in the game is simply to survive. You control a character that automatically attacks, and each character has a different starting weapon. As you progress, you unlock extra characters, new features, new weapons, new weapon combinations, and new stages. There's a lot of secrets and mystery within the game for you to figure out. Developer Luca Galante has stated he created Vampire Survivors because he wanted to manage a community, as he used to be an admin for Ultimate Online servers. The initial early access took a year to create and cost around £1,100 on assets, art and music. When the game first released, it was fairly obscure, but by January 2022, the game had around 30,000 concurrent players on Steam, with that number rising to over 70,000 the following month. According to SteamDB, the all-time peak was around 77,061, with that number dropping from 20,000 to 10,000 in just the past month. First of all, the gameplay is always changing. The developer gave us a roadmap and he stuck to it, but more than that, he went above and beyond and added so many extra things. The game gets constant updates, whether it be a few weeks or a month or so apart. The game is loved and truly cared for. They are officially releasing the version 1.0 patch on the 20th of October 2022, and I actually cannot wait to see what other things are going to be added to the game. So I said that you are the bullet hell. Well, when you start a game, this is what your screen will look like. Just one or two weapons, nothing too exciting. But it will turn to something like this within the next 20 minutes. The core gameplay loop consists of surviving in one of the stages for roughly 30 minutes, as when you hit the 30-minute mark, death will appear and attempt to kill you. Now I say attempted because there are methods of killing death. This gives you 30 minutes to level up, find secrets and new items, and figure out combinations of items. Some mini-boss enemies drop chests that can contain 1, 3 or 5 items, and believe me, when you see the graphics and hear the music of getting a 5-item chest, it's the most dopamine-inducing moment that any game has had in a very long time. So your character has 6 weapon slots and 6 passive slots, and you get items by leveling up and choosing from a list, with the ability to re-roll or block certain items eventually. There's around 30 regular weapons once you've unlocked everything, and 21 weapon evolutions. You can evolve weapons by pairing them either with other weapons or passive items, or both. There are 17 passive items, and even though you can obtain 6 through leveling, you can go past that limit by picking them up off the floor in certain stages. All of these items combined means that you have so much replayability that it's crazy. Every single run can look and feel completely different. You can experiment with different items, see what works and see what doesn't, and eventually you unlock features to alter your run even more. An example of this is locking yourself to one weapon, which might seem like a bit of a silly thing to do, but once you have access to the Arcana system, you can choose one that increases might or damage by 20% and has a minus 8% cooldown for each empty weapon slot. This means that at the start of a run you have 100% increased damage and 40% reduced cooldown already, with a plus 3 to reroll, skip and banish too. I utilise this method to beat the boss rush mode and get the achievement for that stage. So how much does the game cost? In the UK it costs £3.99, €4.99 or $4.99. The reason I make a big fuss about the price is because the amount of content that you get for that little of a price is actually insane. I've spent near enough 60 hours myself in the game. I've perfected it and unlocked all 133 achievements, and I've done this multiple times. Every time the game was updated and new achievements were dropped, I'd hop on and get them. The game, for what looks to most as a simple shoot 'em up, is actually an absolute goldmine. I can guarantee that you won't regret that money for Vampire Survivors. It's a nice game that you can just put on if you're in the mood to play something but don't have time to dedicate to a long game session, especially because you can choose if you want to stick to a 30-minute mark or a 15-minute mark. If you're ever in need of a game, I'd highly recommend taking a look at Vampire Survivors. My testimony is one thing, but while we're here, let's look at some reviews. This has to be the best $3 game on Steam. Imagine getting 100 hours of gameplay out of a $3 game. $3 cocaine, edit, now $5 cocaine. There is no escape, you press play and it's 3 AM. Like I stated before, the price is actually insane for how good this game is, and everyone knows it. Even though the price has risen by roughly $2, it is still worth your time, 100%. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see similar content in the future. I've got a few videos in the works, so hopefully they'll be with you all soon. Thanks again, and see you next time.